Welcome to episode number 33 of the Between Two Brands podcast. Still your host, Bill Petrie, and I want to thank you again for joining me on this ride, especially on a long Labor Day weekend. Before we get started, let's go ahead and pay the rent, shall we? Hey, folks, there is so much good coming out from Bell Promo these days. Here's just a few. The lowest minimums in the industry? Yeah, you can Bell Promo that. The deepest inventory around? You know you can Bell Promo that. 5-star and A+ service? You can absolutely Bell Promo that. 2-day production on most of their products? Now you know you can Bell Promo that. Now, if that weren't enough, and doggone it, it should be, the good folks at Bell Promo have a few other things to share. Made in the USA merchandise? Oh yeah, you can Bell Promo that. There's quite a large selection of made in the USA products on the Bell Promo site. Free shipping on tech and apparel products? Yeah, you can Bell Promo the hell out of that. So, you might want to head over to bellpromo.com to see all their amazing products and feel confident that when your client asks you to create branded merchandise that's available with low minimums, 2-day production, you can tell them, yeah, I can Bell Promo that. All right, before we get to our guest today, and I'm pretty excited about that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the PPAI board slate. As this drops, it is Friday, August 29th, and voting is concluding today for the board slate. And we have the distributor nominee, which is Joseph Sommer from Whitestone. Really great guy. I've gotten to know him a little bit over the past couple of years. I've spoken with him at a few events. We served together on GRAC, the Government Relations Committee. So really good guy, extraordinarily bright, and just really understands how to build and grow a business, and just a tremendous guy. So I love that selection. On the supplier side, we have Bruce Barnett from Charles River. Had the honor of serving with Bruce on the PPEF, the Promotional Products Education Foundation board, past few years, where he sat as treasurer and did an amazing job with that. So again, fantastic nomination. And then the at-large, the lovely and talented Samantha Cates from Spectre. I've known Sam. I don't want to say how long I've known Sam, but a long, long time, and she's a very dear friend. I can't think of anyone more qualified for that at-large bid, and so I'm really excited for the board slate. I also love the fact that after the weirdness of what elections used to be at PPAI, that we've gone to a slate where the leadership committee has identified what the board needs and identified the individuals that can bring that to the board. I love that. In the past, you had a couple distributors run against each other and a couple suppliers run against each other, and it honestly felt icky at times. And there were some very good people who wanted to serve and would have done a great job, but didn't win what honestly felt like a popularity contest from time to time. So I'm really, really glad that PPI has gone to a slate. I think that the leadership committee has done another fantastic job picking great people who will do nothing but phenomenal things at the board level, and I'm super excited. That being said, it's time for my annual rant. Why is there not a service provider on the board? More importantly, why is it the only way a service provider can be on the board is if they are nominated to be the regional delegate, for the board? Why is that? It has bothered me for 15 to 20 years, to be honest with you. I don't get it. I never will understand it. When you look at our industry, most of the innovation has come from service providers. You think about companies like commonsku and Mark and Catherine Grand, David Schultz, Bobby Lehue. You think of Promo Pulse, Jason Noakes. You think of Merch.ai, and you think even of a brand new service provider in Promo CMO, RJ Hagel. All these people are incredibly qualified. I would even put Brandivate has done some pretty interesting things on the service provider side. There's a lot of innovation there. Why wouldn't you want that on your board? I still don't understand that. And plus, it's the only group that works with both suppliers and distributors and truly understands how to work with both sides of the promotional products industry. I've been complaining about this for years, and I'm going to continue to complain about it. I'm going to continue to be the squeaky wheel in hopes that finally I get my grease, and that we can have a service provider, a true service provider, serve a term on the board. I've said for years, if asked, I would not serve. I'm backing off on that. I absolutely would serve. It would be an honor to do so if that ever fell into place. But I got to tell you, I think it's time that the bylaws need to be changed that allow for a permanent spot for a service provider on the board. Okay, that's my rant. I mean it. I say I'm not going to do it every year, but hey, same bat time, same bat channel next year. I'm sure well, hope maybe I won't have the same rant. Maybe things will have changed by then. Who knows? But I'll tell you what I do know. I know what season it is. It's business valuation season. Now, perhaps you don't know what your company's worth. Maybe it's been more than a few years since your last valuation. You need a new benchmark to see if your company is increasing in value. Heck, you might just want to see if it's time to sell your business. Well, regardless of the reason, Jamie Watson, the experts over at Certified Marketing Consultants, have extensive experience in the world of branded merchandise and the financial knowledge necessary to provide a fact-based valuation of your business. Simply email them at info@certifiedmarketing.com for a confidential discussion today. All right, that's enough of this little preamble. Let's go ahead and bring on our guest. My guest today really doesn't need an introduction, but I feel like wasting her time, my time, and your time by doing an introduction anyway. My guest today brings a unique blend of academic insight and industry expertise to her role at PPAI. For those of you scoring at home, PPAI stands for Promotional Products Association International. With years of experience in the promotional products industry and a background as an adjunct professor, she has a passion for translating complex ideas into accessible, actionable learning. She's helping shape the future of professional development in the promotional products industry by rebuilding the certification programs, launching a dynamic learning platform, and circulating curriculum at events that drive growth and innovation. Whether it's in the classroom or on the conference stage, she is known for her thoughtful perspective, strategic thinking, and commitment to raising the bar for what education can and should look like in this industry. Please join me in welcoming the Senior Manager of Professional Development at PPAI. You may know her as JGR, but her real name is Jessica Gibbons Rauch. JGR, thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely. And we've known each other from back before I started just going by my initials. So
I know. It's
it's
like,
been a
oh, it's
wonderful
like,
journey.
yeah, it's like knowing Elvis Presley when he went by Elvis Presley, not just Elvis.
Right.
Pretty darn
Before
cool.
people were tired of my long name.
That's right. All right, you have a topic you want to talk about today. What do you got for me? What are you going to surprise me with?
Well, and I thought about a lot of different directions we could go with this, like why did it take you so long to get your CAS? But I actually want to use this time to get some more information to make our education better.
Okay.
So historically, service providers are in their own category. So we have the distributor, we have the supplier, and then we have service providers. And how do we create a better opportunity for service providers to gain education in the industry when you are kind of in both sides of it? So I know this is totally
Yeah.
off the beaten path, but you have advocated so much for service providers. I know I wasn't in the past. So how do we get service providers more involved in education?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, and this goes very well with my little preamble, which you are not a part of, where I did my annual rant against the PPAI bylaws and the board about not having a service provider on the board.
It's
So
like we're
this
in sync and
effort's
I didn't even know
this
it.
is we are as in sync as Justin Timberlake would allow us to be. But to answer your question, I think you're doing a lot of it. The more, I've had the honor of speaking at Education Day, and I know that's not what it's called anymore at Expo. I apologize. I think it's Conference Day, or I'm sorry, but the Monday of PPA Expo, which generally is when the education sessions happen, and I've had the honor to speak on that stage. I'd say probably for 9 of the last 10 years, and so I always enjoyed that. And what I saw, especially last year, were a lot more service providers speaking. I remember seeing an Eric Granada speak, and that's not something that is in his wheelhouse to do things like that. So seeing that really warms my heart because when I look at this industry where the real innovation happens, it's on the service provider side. It's your David Schultz's from commonsku. It's your Bobby Lehue from commonsku. It's your Jason Noakes from Promo Pulse. It's a lot of people like that. So I think by really encouraging service providers to share their knowledge, to share what they do. And what I mean by that is this. It's not necessarily easy to become a supplier or a distributor, but there's a path and there's a well-known path to do that. Service providers, every single one of us has had to forge our own way and figure out how to work within an industry that can sometimes feel archaic, that sometimes feels like we're stuck in 1955, that change is generally frowned upon. And we've had to figure out how to not only make a viable organization, but to make the services that we offer not only great, but people are willing to pay for them. And I think there's a lot of value to that. So I think to answer your question, offering the platform for more service providers to not only participate in education, but participate at every level of PPAI. And I think you're getting more and more volunteers too from the service provider side.
I love that. I try to always balance our panels too, to always have supplier, distributor, service provider. But we were recently at AMA at
Mhm.
their summer conference, and having a focus group with professors. And I was really thinking about the way that I explain our industry and the areas of it, and how do we shift that so that it's more relatable. And service providers actually came up several times. So I was I was loving this opportunity that was lining up for us to talk of how do we get those
Absolutely.
service providers involved and interested and make sure that the content we're providing is something that's useful for them.
I think you know always there's more to do, but I think it starts with realizing that it's not just this two-headed monster in this industry of suppliers and distributors. There is a third leg to it. There is a tripod here, and that is the service provider. And I will go to my dying day preaching that, singing that song out of the hymnal, for lack of a better term.
Absolutely. If you're an accountant that knows our industry and can do it really well, we need you. Like if
Absolutely.
you're the lawyers too, there's a couple of lawyers that are specialized in our industry. It just takes all types.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's people like Jamie Watson from Certified Marketing, really understands. There's so many great service providers, so many great suppliers and distributors too.
Mhm.
What else should we talk about before I launch into my five easy questions?
Well,
Or
we
is
have a
that it?
lot going on with PPAI, so I know that those are things
Oh,
that we already know about. But just to clarify, PPAI Advance at Expo will be the name of our conference day. So we have a whole new
PP.
brand.
Okay.
I
All
know you
right.
like the brand,
I
so
do. I do.
yes,
And maybe I'll be a part of it. Maybe I won't. I wish
it's
we knew.
so much more fun to communicate something when it has a good brand story behind it. It's like our industry understands that.
I
So we're very excited to be
completely agree.
rebranding.
Well, that's awesome. Well, hey, I've got five very easy
I'm
questions so people
ready.
can get to know you a little bit better. Now, you've made a career out of lifelong learning. Now, before you joined PPAI, however, you were on the distributor side of the industry for quite
Mhm.
a long time. What's the most challenging aspect of transitioning from distributor to working for the association?
It has been a very weird transition, and I was very glad that Lindsay Davis was able to prep me a little bit. For one thing, I find I apologize for my past self quite often when I realize all the work that goes into the different things and the different process. I'm like, oh yeah, I tried to pull shenanigans. So having that different perspective of how it works in the background has been very interesting. But also, it does kind of change the dynamic of the relationships that you have within the industry because you're having different kinds of conversations than you had before. But the thing that I love about this industry is it doesn't like I still have friends. I still have a huge network of friends that people that I know that I can count on. So it makes it easier in that respect. So even though we're having different conversations, I know like, hey, you and I, we've known each other for almost 20 years. We're cool. Those kinds of moments too, where you have to be like, I'm doing the best I can, but I can be real with you. This is how it's going to be. So I still don't really understand all of what goes on at PPAI, even though I've been here for 2 years and I'm learning more and more. So I'm excited to expand my own education when it comes to things like how to work with a committee. Um, I didn't know that before. How governance works. These are all things I'm learning about now.
Yeah, I got to believe it's a different animal. I mean, you're working for a volunteer-driven organization. That's not how a
Mhm.
distributor works. That's not how service providers work.
Interestingly, all the people that we have that came from the industry are also remote employees. So we add
Yeah,
that extra little layer of difference too, where a lot of
yeah.
the other people are there at headquarters, where the rest of us are remote. And we have a little remote group. It's fun.
No, that doesn't seem very fair, does it? Now, you've recently overhauled the entire education program at PPAI. I have two questions, so I'm cheating.
Mhm.
Number one,
Okay.
why was this necessary in your mind? And number two, in a year, so after this is fully deployed and launched, after 12 months, what will define success? Whether this platform change has been successful or maybe less than successful.
So this has been a long time passion of mine before I came to PPAI. It was part of why I was brought on, is because I was so vocal about the fact that our certification was not keeping up with the education standards that were needed. I was the one who was training at those distributors, saying this is how the industry works and this is are the parts, and we all had to do it on our own. And as on the distributor side, you have lots of different roles, just like on the supplier side. But all of the coursework was always focused on sales and ownership. Well, we've got merchandisers, marketers, we've got people in finance, technology, operations, decoration. There's so much to our industry, and there was no educational opportunities for those people. So this was something that I wanted to almost do on my own because I was so passionate about it. So when PPI approached me about having this opportunity, because of my background as a professor and understanding the pedagogy behind how we're delivering digital technology, so or digital content, the way that our attention spans are. No one wants to sit through a 90-minute recorded webinar. That's not fun, even on two speed. It's too it's too
Mhm.
much. So how do we re-engineer what we're doing to make it so that people can digest that? So it did end up being like a stars align kind of thing because of having that experience and training in our industry, that it just kind of made sense. It was the right time. A lot of the content hadn't been updated in several years. And being able to really focus on that was something that I was able to do. And we have to keep evolving the way that we're presenting information because our industry is evolving. We need to keep up. Plus, we have younger generations. We want to bring them in. We want them to be comfortable, confident, and have all the tools they need. I want them to be in a better spot than when I joined the industry. I think we all want that. Um, but
So,
in
what does
the
success
12,
look like in 12
so
months? Yeah.
for 12 months success, it's harder for us to define right now because we don't have as much we don't have as many KPIs as I would like. So coming from marketing, we know analytics is one of the greatest things that we can work on. But understanding that we have a regular flow of people coming in to get their certification who are able to come back and say, hey, this is what I was able to use with it. This is what I were able to do with it. My big hope is to have more people wanting to do the MAS plus where they have a project that they have to execute. So it's a little bit of both sides. But having a regular flow of people who are getting their certifications would be amazing. And knowing that so many people have a certification with their membership, depending on their membership level, if I could max out those free certifications, I would be happy
Yeah.
as a clam. I don't mind being, giving the money back if they've earned that certification with their membership level. Go get it.
No, I love that answer, and I just learned something. I learned that there is no way you're going to be on my Wild Wednesday webinar tomorrow, which will be a 60-minute webinar. So that's the one takeaway I've got. Now, kidding aside, I actually
No, I'll be on one in
Jessica
September.
Jessica approached me about that it was time I got my CAS. I think you can tell me if I'm wrong. I may have had the most hours of education been had been either conducted and done and all the committees I'd sat on and not gotten a certification. So I am now a CAS. So you talked me into
And
it.
I'm very proud of you.
I
And
feel
I think
proud.
there's a barrier for a lot of people though that they didn't want to take those required coursework because the old coursework was, it's 15 hours of stuff that hadn't been updated. We've
Yeah,
reduced that to 5 or 4 classes that everyone
yeah,
should know. Ethics,
yeah,
technology, things that just
yeah,
you should know. But that way people can create their own journey. So if they're really into merchandising, they're really into something else, that
yeah.
they can make the path what they want just with the basics of the required. So
So
yeah, not the most credits, but you were definitely on my, if I could have anyone in the industry get it, you're on that list.
no, you need
The
to
slide of shame.
you need to shoot for higher goals than that. Okay. Now, here's something I know. You're a huge Northern Illinois fan, NIU.
That's true.
Last year, your team went to South Bend and beat Notre Dame, and on behalf of all good-hearted humans, thank you. Uh, but I digress. As an educator, what makes NIU so special to you?
Um, I mean, personally, this is where I started, where I found my husband and everything like that. But academically, one of the
Was he
things that NIU
lost?
has He was in the music school, so yeah, a little bit. But I digress. One of the things I love about the program specifically is their ability to innovate and to transfer into this online world. So they've added a digital marketing master's, which a lot of schools don't have. Um, but yeah, I think once you've committed to a school, you're kind of it's hard to let it go, try to go to anywhere else. But yeah, I don't have my season tickets anymore, but once you've memorized that fight song, it's hard to let it go.
Yeah, I don't know the Huskies fight song. I apologize. I don't because why would I? But
Go Huskies.
yeah, let's talk hair. JGR, you are well known for rocking wild hair colors today. For those of you just listening on audio, which would mean listening, so let me be the redundant man of redundancy. It's kind of a purplish pinkish
Hmm.
situation. Okay,
Yeah,
super. I've got several questions. We're just going to go in order. I'm not going to ask them all at
I'm
once
really
because that's the way people
excited.
forget. What started this little obsession of yours with the hair color?
I was actually challenged by a former employer who said that he didn't think I would do it, and I that was when I had my very first color. It was green to match the green PMS color of our company. And then also I very much believe that I've embraced a time in my life where I don't need to have my natural color. I can express myself however I want to. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you coordinate the color of your hair with your outfit? So you're wearing the pinkish purple now. Are most things you wear until you get a different color, pinkish purple?
I do not coordinate with my outfit. Typically, I wear a lot of black, actually, which makes it a lot easier.
Okay.
I do, however, coordinate it with our PPAI events. So at Expo, you will see I have PMS matched the blue or purple, depending on how you say it. And
Okay.
I always have it refreshed right before one of our conferences. And the
Okay.
next one, she says she's going to do something with peach and lime. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens.
Peach and lime sounds like one hell of a beverage. What's the one color? What's the one color you'd never do, never wear?
Um, the one color I ran into problems with was orange, where I actually did say she had to change it. I wouldn't leave, and she agreed. She's like, "No, this is not a color you can wear." It was a grand idea, but no, I do have to lighten up on the purple though because it transfers to a lot of things, and it just
Hmm.
kind of gets to be a problem.
On behalf of all good-hearted Texas A&M Aggies, there's nothing worse than orange. Last one. Are you just mocking people like me who are follically challenged by changing your hair color all willy-nilly like that when the rest of us have to worry about growing hair?
I would say that you could wear a wig any day that you feel like you want to. So no, not so
Not
much.
wearing
But
a
I
wig.
what I don't want is for everyone to see like my gray and whites that have come through. So this is being chemically enhanced is perfectly fine with me.
All right, last question. You go to quite a few concerts with your husband, Eric. Now, what
I
might
do.
surprise people is the genre you tend to lean into, which is heavy metal. You go to a lot of metal shows. In fact, you throw up the devil horns in many pictures, especially after you've let out some anger boxing. How does heavy metal music speak to you, and what has been your favorite all-time concert experience?
Oh, that one is a tough one. The, I'm very much a mood listener. So when I need to rock out some heavy metal, it's usually when I have to focus. So I have a running joke with my team that if I have to turn on corn, then it means like I'm dead into something really complicated and I need to turn it up to 11. But I feel like metal is just a fun way to get out energy, rage, enjoyment. It's just the best genre ever. I'm actually going to see Garbage soon at the Salt Shed in Chicago. I'm very excited. I haven't been to the Salt Shed before. But actually, I'm trying to think of my favorite conference. The favorite concert experience would probably still be Summer Sanitarium Tour 1999 in St. Louis. Metallica headlined. But I actually got in the very front row of the mosh pit back when I did mosh pits. I have a chair now, like I wear cotton. It's a whole different world. And Jonathan Davis touched my hand, and I was very excited about it. And that was back before we had things like phones and cameras. So it's just seared in my memory, and that's something I will never get to experience again. So
Yeah, that's why everybody, if you don't know JGR, you should be a little scared. She does boxing and she's really into metal, which I love. Now, before we say goodbye to Jessica, let's thank our sponsor, Bell Promo. Huge thanks to them for sponsoring this fine broadcast. When you're looking for the lowest minimums, deepest inventory, 5-star, A+ service, they got that. You know you can Bell Promo all of that. Jessica, Jessica Gibbons Rauch, Mrs. Gibbons Rauch, whatever we're calling you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on this silly little broadcast. Uh, can't wait to do it again sometime.